And when I met them, Mike and Angela were together. And I don't know how together they were, but they were together. It was at a convention, and there's a lot of sort of ad hoc together at conventions, but I think that it's probably not a proper term, but they were together. And I never realized how much together until they moved in this direction. We found out that they had crafted their careers separately in a way. Angela crafted hers and Michael his, but they were together. They were together the last time I saw them. They drove on a rainy night from Trenton to a tennis facility in South Jersey to celebrate my birthday. And I can never forget it because they're not tennis players. They weren't there for the tennis. They weren't there for the food. They were there for me. Many of you can say that. They've been there for us over the years. I just think that the thing that I want to point out about Michael more than anything else is how understated he was. That wasn't an accident. Everything about Michael was understated. The way he dressed, the way he presented himself, and the way he managed. At the tennis party, my wife introduced Mike and Angela to some friends of ours, and she described Michael as my boss. And Michael almost cringed, because that's not the way he thought of himself. He didn't have to think of himself that way, because if you really have the talent to manage, you never have to boss. But we did have this one instance, an editorial board meeting. Michael didn't make many editorial board meetings. He had plenty to do. But he stopped in on this one because there were a group of guests, and they were young rappers who had put out some record. And about 15 minutes into their spiel, I started to get excited because they were wearing me out. I was sick of it. Sick of these young guys telling me what it is to be black and all that sort of thing. And so I started to raise up, and I said some things, and they said some things, and it went back and forth, and we were gesticulating, gang signs and all. And I happened to glance over at Michael, and he gave me one of these. That was all it took. I stood down because Michael was the boss. For me, he was a dear friend. The things that you've written about him make me feel smart today. I loved him on my own, but I didn't know how good he was until I started listening to some of the things that you've had to say. Angela, particularly the piece that you posted today from the funeral director was just so touching. Keep writing, but keep giving. This is the day that we start to put together the fund that will represent Michael and Angela because they're together. Let's make the donations. Let's make this thing happen.